Well, hello, and welcome, my Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for February 2020, though timeless. Whenever you happen to watch it is when you are meant to see it. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and a human being that happens to have Venus in Libra. So this one I might be in. I've been trying to keep track of that, not project onto it, but hey, what you gonna do, right? Ooh, the Lover's card, bottom of the deck. Let's see. If you're new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. Now, I'm mixing that back in. We're gonna do this fair and square. I am a Virgo. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. Getting closer and closer every day to 1,000 subscribers so I can do super live chat and all sorts of other cool stuff. But you can check my description box to find out more about who I am and what I do. If you are new, looking forward to do Drunk Tarot on Super Live Chat, but we'll get there eventually. That said, let's get down to biz here with your Path of True Love reading. First of all, it's a general read. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, so that you can get information from your different planets. And I got an email. Someone asked a question that I will actually probably do a video about, but there is a difference for me, at least, when I watch a reading on YouTube for Virgo, which is my sun sign, as opposed to Pisces, which is my moon, right? So sometimes it just comes in on a different wavelength, and I just thought that might be personal, but I guess it's not. So I'm going to reply to her email, and then I'll probably do a clarifying video on that, like the one I did for the Celtic cross spread. What we are doing here today is a Celtic cross spread, 10 positions, but 22 cards, and I'll explain, right? So 10 of these at first, right? We're going to lay down the foundation with the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. All the decks that I read are in the description box at the bottom. Scroll through. There's a lot of cool stuff on the way down. This will be the voices of my deities, right? My pantheons, but in this particularly the Divine Masculine, the Divine Feminine, through the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, Fiona Morgan. Then we will clarify those with 10 of the Doreen Virtue Healing with the Angels Oracle. We'll shuffle those at the time and draw those, lay them out as well to clarify. Those two work really well together. I have read really those two decks for decades together, so that's really lovely. So then once we get that down and we get like the tarot angel story of all of that, we'll take one of these, the Whispers of Love Oracle cards, the Voices of the Higher Selves, which means mine included because I got my Venus in Libra. And then we will finish out with a Healing Mantra card from the Healing Mantra deck because the Path of True Love is your spiritual path. It's actually in the top of the description box. This is your spiritual path through the lenses of your relationships. So, you know, true love, it's a hero's journey, right? So whether you see it as the hero's journey, your spiritual path, your healing path, your warrior's path, look, it takes a warrior's courage to walk the path of true love. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. So that's why guidance and grace is helpful, and that's why I'm here, because that's how I have to live my life, walking the path of true love. So believe me, am I an expert? I've just been aware of it longer. And the twists and turns of it all. Everybody's path of true love is highly unique to what they need to learn and evolve and do in this life. But having been on it so long, 51 years old, look at me, 51 years old, and having read tarot since I'm 12, it's going to be 40 years, the gods are using me to help people become true love. That is the ultimate goal. The paradox being that you already are, but just when they asked Michelangelo, oh, where is he? When, not the turtle, the sculptor, the artist, when they asked Michelangelo about the David, they said, Michelangelo, how did you carve the David? He said, I didn't. God created the David. I just chipped away the excess marble. That's what relationships do. It's essentially grinding down what doesn't serve lifetime after lifetime, however you want to look at that goal. So that's what these readings are for, as long as we're all clear. That's why you might want to check Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, because there's different percentages, and it's going to, like, your sun sign is just going to be different than your moon, etc. So that said, last important piece of business, and then we will dive in full force. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. You're an air sign. But already you see how fast I'm going? The energy is really, really high. Oh, by the way, I'm doing this on the Sunday of the full moon, the 9th of February. So I did ritual last night, my prayers, all that stuff. So I'm like, this is the first reading of the day, and I'm caffeinated. So I'm going to breathe, be in the present moment as much as I can, and find the still point so that I am translating directly from the divine, right? And if you are doing the same, you are being in the present moment, tuning to that same still point. That's where it is. The divine is always in the here and now. To ring that silent bell and let its resonance guide you intuitively for what feels right, what isn't resonating, and so that I can translate it through pictures, right? Cards and words. Cool, cool. Clairvoyant, clairaudient, empathic. Let's do this. Nice, deep breath. Feet on the floor, Mark. Still point. Here we go. My gods, my goddesses, please. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. Please show me the Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for February 2020. Please show us where we are. I will include myself in that. Show us where we are on the path of true love, February 2020. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Libra Collective. I hear ya. February 2020. Sun, Moon, Rising, path of true love. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Cut them cleanly. Maiden, Mother, Crown. Nothing like a clean cut, so you don't gotta guess. It's not clean if one clings on the bottom and ends up on the top of the second one. You know what I mean? It's just not great. Or the bottom of the second one. So now I'm putting these aside so I don't subconsciously pick them up and shuffle them, which is a reader's habit. But we are ready to go. Let's see what the divine, the gods and goddesses have to say. First card down. Oh, which by the way is why I did the video clarifying the Celtic Cross. Everybody gets the same, the first two positions the same, but then after that, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth is where it varies. So you might want to watch that, but I'm going to at least call out the name of the position, right? So the card that covers us, what is the cover for where we on the path of true love? Lovely. 6 of Cups, off to a good start. Emotional balance. I really, really do enjoy this card the way that Fiona Morgan had it done, that it's one woman laying at the beach, at the shore, with 5 of her friends like kind of working on her. We all need that support. Now, this need not be literal for where you are right now, but that thing of the equal give and take, of care and compassion. Compassion is ultimately knowing that everybody is doing the best that they can with the level of consciousness, with what they've been through, with how much emotional baggage, like the sum total. Everybody is fighting a hard battle. Be kind, right? Or be compassionate. So feeling that compassion for yourself, feeling that compassion for others. And what I love, I don't know if you can see, but on this side of the card, there are water nymphs. I think Nereids is the name, if I remember correctly, right? Offering the 6 cups. So it really is like that oceanic, right? That flow of like cyclic breath, which is rebirthing and holotropic breath and all that kind of stuff too, which I'm really into. So, you know, so that emotional healing, but through compassion, and of course the self-compassion. Yes, I am doing the best that I can. Everybody is. Libras, I know you're trying to keep a balance and you like to keep things symmetrical, but if you hold yourself outside of everybody else, like, yes, everybody has a hard battle, but I have to work harder. I'm not, because Virgos can do that, and I know Libras can do it. Well, any sign, I guess, could do it. So make sure that's in balance mentally for you so that emotionally you can experience the compassion where you are right now for yourself, for others, as well as hopefully from others in that balance. All right? On the path of true love, that's a great start. The cross, what's the environment? What's the situation? What's going on here? Nine of Cups, sorry, not Nine of Cups, Eight of Cups. Now, so often in the Rider-Waite and many decks you hear walking away. This is walking toward. This is walking into. This is withdrawal. Now, yes, you have to, every step towards the east is a step away from the west. That's true, right? It's just true. So, yes, you are walking away from something, but this card really, for me in this deck, because she's going into a cave, so it's not just walking away from some situation. Yeah, she got there by boat, right? Travel by water. So here's your water, right? So you're in a situation right now to take this move of compassion to being compassion by withdrawing, by pulling back. So maybe a little solitary time going on, although remember, you don't always have to withdraw alone. Take a friend with you. I mean, if you think about it, even like therapy or going for a reading or a Reiki session or, whatever healing you do, if you have a practitioner with you, it's withdrawal with somebody else, right? A healing, a pit stop moment, perhaps. The third position, this is where it varies, right? Third position, the core. Not just the sub and the unconscious mind, but the soul, right? We always think of the divine as above the head, which it's fine. It is too. Divine is everywhere. But to find like that still point, that's what I'm talking about, that soul, that essence, what that knows, what's going on down there. That's the core of the third position. And a major arcana card, Shakti, the life dancer, which really is the card of the world or the universe, right? It's that place, not between night and day, because really that's the fool in this deck, the dreamer. But it is the balance, that alchemical moment where one thing ends and the potential of the beginning of the new begins to rise, right? Just like the dance, just like the breath, just like the... just think of the... Get what I'm saying? So with that going on in the soul, that there is something completing the end of a cycle, but within it, very much the inspiration. Now, I'm not going to kid you. The vibe on this, of course, we'll see what the angel cards say when they go around, although there are no hard cards in that deck in any way, shape, or form. Maybe surrender and release if you're not used to it yet. But Shakti, I mean, really look in Google Shakti, right? Really, really get what she's about, because this is really the successful completion of something, and perhaps a soul level thing. Maybe not just in the outside world. I can't imagine that not manifesting some way in the outside world. If it hasn't, it will. But getting that sense of it's midnight, dong, dong, the bells are ringing, the tolls are tolling, but in a really good way inside. It feels like something's done baking, perhaps, right? It's done. The fourth position is you're behind. What's behind you? What's in your behind, Libra? Second major arcana card out of 4. We're looking at the Wheel of Fortune in this deck. The Spider Woman, the Weaver, right? The Life Weaver. If you think of her almost like the Fates, right? In the Greek tradition, right? So like one spins the thread. What is it? one spins the thread, one measures the thread, one cuts the thread. Well, that's what she's doing here. There are spinning wheels involved all the way through. So something about fate and destiny going on here. Now, I just had a conversation with my gods. Of course I would. It was full moon, 2:33 a.m. this morning Eastern time. And, I'm a mystic, so I spend a good amount of time in prayer and meditation every day. Otherwise, I couldn't be doing this full force the way I am. And this thing about Mark, and they call me Mark. I have other names they could call me by. They like calling me Mark, so I'm okay with that. I have a magical name. It's a whole other story. And they said, everything really is in the divine plan. And it's not like when you get frustrated, when you think you made a mistake, we just want you to know that the mistake isn't really a mistake. It's written into the divine plan so that you learn certain things that will apply later that you will have forgotten. This little glitch that you had, I was actually cleaning my Starbucks Verissimo machine. I was like, did I fuck this up? Because descaling it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass every now and again if you don't hit the buttons right. And it all worked out just perfectly fine. And it really was. They taught me that lesson in my kitchen about a half hour ago, even though we had talked about it earlier in the day. So there's this thing of in the past here of something that's written. And if it's behind you already, it's in your behind. relax. The divine timing issue is in play. And and that's the thing. It's all divine timing. Like, we think we have some kind of control over it. If I raise my vibration, I'll get what I want. Really? I would love to see that happen more often. But since I've been, involved in this industry, whether it was spell work, manifestation, vision boards, creative visualization, I read back in the 80s, right, when I was still in high school, Shakti Gawain, bless her soul, there's timing. We're not in control. The quantum field, yes, maybe infinite probabilities and possibilities, but we're not in control of which of those we experience. Those are being arranged for us by a higher power, higher self, God, Goddess, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, angels, whatever you want to call it. And it's for the evolution of our soul, not for the comfort of our personalities, if you haven't noticed, right? So whatever is going on here, take the withdrawal time, because really, if you look at it, what you're withdrawing into is perhaps that completion, that's that graduation from something, the completion of a cycle within yourself. It's not necessarily an ending with that, because it's such a universal card that out of that starts a whole new universe, a whole new world. Get on your carpet. The crowning card, position number 5, right? It's like, what's coming into being? What's the immediate future? Like a baby being born, right? You just see the head, can't tell what it is, but you know it's a baby. What's crowning for us? Well, it's a good thing that we're going in, because we got the learner. And I do love this card. I do. Good old Eight of Pentacles. Now, Eight of Pentacles, it's sort of like putting your head down, right? Like doing the work, chunking away at it. But what I love about this is it's a maiden working with a crone, or I should say a crone working with a maiden, teaching her how to weave blankets, and there are completed blankets in front of them, right? So that she can look at the example. Now, there is something there. I mean, the thing about spiritual teachers, there are so many of them right now, which is better, than having them beheaded and burned at the stake. Let's have more. More is better in that sense than, having none. But we're all spiritual teachers, because we're all spirit. It's just, what are you teaching? What is your curriculum, right? So we have to be learners in order to keep constantly evolving and growing. Now, as an air sign, know that one of the ways that we learn and grow on the path of true love is, of course, by relationships, but none more important than our relationship with the divine and ourselves, because really, we're both. And that's the paradox of it. And every other relationship in your life is teaching you about that balance. And that's just how it is. I didn't make it that way. So that's why you got to love yourself before you love anybody else. Can I get an amen? Thank you, Saint RuPaul. Let's move along. We got the lesson. Where are we going in position number 6? What's before you on the path? Not what happened before, but what lay before you on the path of true love, young seeker. Oh, kick-ass. 10 of Flames in this deck is the Hora. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila. It is the Hora. I mean, they don't do it at funerals. It's weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and is it b'nai mitzvahs? I forget the third one. Forgive me. My mother divorced my father and married her Jewish lawyer, my stepfather. So, raised with it. It's just at the moment doing a reading. I'm a little temporally shifted at the moment, considering I'm holding a future card. This is about a joyful completion, a happy completion, or at least that's how it feels in this card right now, empathically. I know, rider weight, lugging that shit home, exhausted. Yeah, you got what you wanted, but it still kind of sucks. No, this is a much more jubilant, because it's the fulfillment of desire. It's the ace, that creative spark of creation brought full circle. And you got this going on, so this puppy's going to manifest in some way that feels really, really good. Now, as a result of being alone, you get this. Alone. By withdrawing. And remember, well, since the card is here, maybe you don't withdraw completely alone. Maybe it is like a weekend workshop, shamanic experience, something or other. I would say out in the woods. I guess that depends on where you live, because here it's fucking cold. But, this is for February. Let this come. But you're going to have to learn your next step, what's incarnating the crown. Yeah, there's a lesson there. And, of course, we're going to pull the angel cards for that in a little bit. That's the microcosm, the small world, after all. This, now we will do, I almost shuffled them, will be the macrocosm. Position number 7, the lesson, what the gods are trying to teach us. What are they trying to teach us? We got the Virgo card, yes! I love being a Virgo. But let's talk about this. Could this be a teacher, because it's the lesson position that is a Virgo? Now, yes, I am a Virgo, but does that mean this person has to be Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? No, not at all. But there's something practical about them. Okay, there is something structured. 6th house is about occupation and health, right? Because your health and your occupation are woven together. Now, I just don't mean occupation. Yes, Virgos are the servants of the zodiac, but I don't just mean in terms of what you do for a living, although what you do for a living has an effect on your health, obviously. What occupies you? What occupies the mind, particularly for air signs? Well, Virgos are thinkers. We're ruled by Mercury, which is about to go retrograde, and I will get to those readings when I'm done with these, most likely. But if you can kind of get that, regardless of what the sign of the person is, there's something there about an occupation that this person has to do with healing. Maybe this is actually a healer of some kind, again, helping you with this lesson or delivering that lesson to you, because really when teachers become healers and healers become teachers organically, that's when the quantum, I think, really reveals itself, right? Like you go to a class or a workshop and something heals in you at the same time because of what the person's talking about. That's who I strive to be. That's who I think I'm wired to be, but always a constant evolution. Brilliant card. Keep an eye on what are you occupied with mentally, emotionally, in terms of desire while you're in this time, really, of the Virgin. If you think of it even that way, it's like, we're the only sign that crosses our legs, Virgos. It's like, no, I'm going to keep to myself for right now. Thank you very much. I'm going to cross my legs. I'm going to spend some time with me. I'm going to get back to my original settings, so to speak. And keep in mind, the original meaning for the word virgin wasn't about sexuality necessarily, right? I mean, maybe it was in the original, but like virgin land just means nobody's owned it or built upon it, right? Like Athena, you're going to tell me Athena and Artemis and Hestia never had sex, right? Virgin goddesses 3, right? I'm sure they did whatever they wanted. They were goddesses, but they were never married, right? No one ever owned them. Remember, we're using patriarchal language here. Cool. With a feminist deck, I'm so glad they didn't like burst into flames. So, because they love me and they know me. Let's look at where you are, the 8th position, in terms of how the world sees you. I find this a very interesting card because sometimes we have no idea what the fuck we look like. And I don't mean, this is obviously energetically, right? Symbolically, we have no idea what we're putting ourselves out there as, or what we're putting out there, or how people are perceiving it. At the same time, people can have an idea about you that has nothing to do with you whatsoever. Total projection, like parental. Like if somebody projects a parental role onto you, they don't even know they're doing it. That doesn't make you their parent, right? So someone makes you good, someone makes you bad, some people love you, some people hate you, and absolutely none of it has anything to do with you on a true level. So that's the position of this card, how the world sees you horizontally. And you're a fucking mystery to people right now, the High Priestess. Like either you are, like walking that path. I was a High Priest for decades. Never again. Am I done with coven life? Yeah. Why? Because I am a solitary, even the name of the coven that I might still be affiliated with, I'm not even sure. Solitaries are the silver broom, right? So it's all about me being a mystic and the divine and serving wherever the fuck they send me, but that's a high priest or high priestess vessel. But does that mean we let on with everything we know 24/7, 365? Secrets. We all have our secrets and our mysteries, our ways through life that we share with those who are ready. So one way or the other, if you are carrying that sort of spiritual power, knowledge, insight right now, soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little, listen much. Be a true virgin. Oh, and by the way, she's a maiden. She's a virgin. That's the whole idea, because the next card after this would be the Empress, the mother, right? And there's actually a crone card in this deck as well, the Kaliek. No, that's the wise one. I forget who the crone is. Oh, right, because there's a whole suit of crones. Sorry about that. No, but the Kaliak is the crone in this deck. It's the Hermit. Yeah. Just double check it. I've only read it since I'm 19 in this deck. So very interesting thing. Get that people might be a little spooked by you. A little like, or just they get that you are in this quiet, silent, spiritual, perhaps solitary place, and will just leave you alone, not to trespass because you're in virgin territory at the time. Where there is a lesson. That does make sense. Destiny. Fate and destiny are not the same thing. I'm not going into it here and now. Go watch the clarification video. But let us say this position called destiny doesn't tell you what your destiny is ultimately, because you don't want a tarot card to do that. You want to experience that firsthand. What it does tell you is where you are in terms of the hero's journey aspect of the path of true love, which is all about alchemizing fate, which you cannot change, into destiny, your highest potential. It sounds nice on paper, but it's tricky as shit, right? New information, Ace of Blades. The Sibyl, hold your water. The Oracle of Delphi, right? Bringing through that brand new thing. Now, maybe it's bringing through an idea, a thought that's never been brought onto the planet before, or maybe it's just new to you. Or maybe it's something that's been circling for a while. I'll be in conversations with people, let alone in readings, and a thought will go by, like a planet, like in my orbit, so to speak. I'm like, yeah, no. I have to pay attention. Pay attention to the conversation. First time around. Second time around, not that fast, but I'm like, no. But if it comes around a third time before the conversation's over, I know I have to say it, right? It's like that. Maybe this is a thought you have swatted away like a fly, but in terms of your destiny, let the new thought in. Thoughts are things. Do you come up with them? You receive them like a fucking radio or a cell phone, like a text message from the divine. And sometimes not so much from the not so divine, right? Sometimes you're just picking up what's free floating in the air, depending on how high your frequency is, how your energy is. So the Sibyl, again, we're going to throw angel cards on these. What's your outcome? Now, just to say, the sixth position where you have the card of the Hora and whatever this card is are mutable. Supposed to be mutable, changeable. I don't think you want to change that Ten of Flames there. But just to let people know, like, is it written in stone? It's written in quantum hologram. You might get a different one, but this is the indication of where things are headed right now. Like a GPS, you do have free will. Except when you don't. Because certain shit is just written. That's fate, right? So will you achieve your destiny? Probably, maybe not this month, but what's your outcome at least for this reading? Oh, girl. Five of Flames, the volcano, an explosion. Now, an explosion of passion, which sounds good again on paper, but it could be anger. Something that's been boiling for a while. This could be a Kundalini activation, right? Something that's been percolating in your root chakra down into the underworld, coming up all at once, up and out, got a little snaky head going on there, hieroglyphic dealio. There's a lot in this card, but it is minor arcana, so somewhere in between, right? Just a little like, and, Armageddon is the Five of Flames, but it's Pele, the volcano, and please keep in mind that volcanic ash is the most fertile substance as far as I'm concerned, because it is coming from the core of the planet and exploding. And that's why you look at the tropical islands that are volcanic, rich, lush, abundant. So often after a Five of Pentacles explosion of creativity, there comes abundance, right? Of sexuality can come abundance. Creativity and sexuality are the same thing. A spiritual awakening, a Kundalini thing. But if it is more in the shadow, make sure that you are taking space for yourself if it's your anger that you are dealing with. If it is, what is anger? Repressed passion, repressed power. Boom. Which is why being a little isolated right now and see without all the static of everybody else around you. Now look, people say for how long? For how long? Well, for how long do you want to wait? For how long do you want to put it off? Is it just a weekend? I'm busy. Well, you can be in the world and still be pulled back, right? Just like mindfulness is like that. Be the silent witness. Eckhart Tolle the crap out of it. What can I tell you? Let's get our second layer down with the Daughters of the Moon. Daughters of the Moon is already down. The Healing with the Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue. Nice deep breath. Let's get these cards in place. Here we go. Still point. My angels. Oh, my angels, please. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross, for this Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Where are they? Where are we, I should say, on the path of true love for February 2020? Please clarify what the gods have already laid down for us. There's a little more insight, a little more balanced thought for this Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love, I hear you, for February 2020. Mother of Chrome. Ooh, it just popped. I don't know how else to say it. That just sort of popped. Let's move that there. All right, here we go. We're going to start with this card of the Six of Cups, right? Compassion. That. Remember that? What do the angels want to end? Oh, fuck. Soulmate. Now, chill. This is where you are right now. This could be that you're being the mate to your own soul, or these people that are helping you, that your soulmates are coming, or your soulmates are here, or they're in the energy. But remember, and if you're new to my channel, there is no twin flame card in this deck. Twin flames and soulmates are not the same thing. Yeah, I guess this is an appropriate place to talk about this. Look, I did a video. It really should be in the description box if it isn't. I apologize. But there's a difference between twin flames, soulmates, etc. The difference is a soulmate is a pre-incarnational soul contract where you help each other heal. It doesn't matter the form of the relationship, whether it's lover or family or friend, what have you. You help each other heal. Twin flames, you teach each other how to heal yourselves, which means by definition, by contract, you cannot help each other heal. You learn how to heal yourself. You have to learn how to give yourself the love that only you can give them yourself, that they just can't give you, though you want them to. Nightmare, again, but not just romantic, sexual, right? Family, friend, all sorts of different ways these contracts play themselves out. But with this card of compassion, I would say to you that whatever relationships you are in right now that you are pulling away from, this is contracted. Anyone that you are retreating with in terms of healing, right? Like compassion, taking, even if it is just taking time by yourself, then you are being the mate of your own soul, or the soulmate to that child within. You are becoming the soulmate by loving who you are, by being compassionate for yourself. And the angels just said, and that is spread out amongst the collective of humanity, let alone for the Libra collective. But to point that out, that compassion really is your key. In the moment, at least, through this time of, again, withdrawal, but going more into than purely away from. So let's look at the Eight of Cups. What do we got here? I knew it was coming. Divine timing. It's a divine timing thing. It was meant to happen. Didn't I say the divine timing with this in the past, the fourth position, what, you know, what's behind you on this. So it's just time for that. Now keep in mind the 4, the 2, and the 6, the even numbered cards in at least the first 6 create past, present, future. So this is something, where does she go? This is leading to the Hava Nagila, the Hora, the completion of desire, but you gotta get, it's all in divine timing. So how long is it gonna take? As long as it takes is as long as it takes. Can you speed it up, slow it down? Usually not with divine timing, but I would think if they don't have to drag you kicking and screaming, it goes a lot faster. But sometimes it's exactly what we have to do, is kick and scream as we go, because that's part of the divine plan too. Because, I mean, this is worth it. The universe in the 3rd position, that's amazing. That's wonderful. There's some, I can feel it, something soul-oriented has completed here. And what's the card? Retreat! 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 It's like go within, go within, go within, go within, go within. Even if it is through therapy, through counseling, through path working, through meditation, through hypnosis, through Zen underwater basket weaving, whatever the fuck it is that you do, go within, retreat. It's not a sign of weakness. Consider it a tactical retreat. A retreat in order to experience some sort of completion within yourself, like a graduation. Do it! Just saying. Cool, cool. The Wheel of Fortune, Spider-Woman, 4th position in the past. We've kind of established this is, well, we got soul contract there with that soulmate card. We've got divine timing. We've got a completion on the inside here in the core. Yeah, I think we get that there's a divine timing element here. Spider-Woman, what do the angels have to say? As a result of trust. Did you go ahead and trust that there was a divine plan? Did you go ahead and already trust that somehow it was all going to work out? Or are you in a lesson of trust? Is that totally what this is about, right? You've got that, well, the next card will tell us the lesson. But coming from a place of trust, look, trust is hard in this world, particularly on the path of true love. Oh, if you have not been to hell and back, you don't really know what I'm talking about, right? But you get to this place of, you know, it's like on the spiritual path. I forget who said this to me originally, but I think it's just classically true. I'll just put it in terms of the craft. Like when you first start learning about witchcraft and spirituality, you see a feather float down, and you're like, oh, it's spirit, it's the one, I'm loved by the gods. At this stage in your life, you see a feather float down, you're looking for the bird to shit on you. But eventually you grow even past that and get, well, then I guess that's part of the divine plan too. You learn to trust that everything is happening for you in the quantum, but for the soul, not the personality. So there's some aspect you got to look at. Only you know what is it that you gave your trust to, that now you're, oh well, but that it's time to trust yourself, your path, to go within, because you're headed somewhere. I mean, we're going to clarify that too. So let's get to the 5th, because here, this will reflex directly to this card, right? Because this is the lesson and this is the learner, right? So there's a reflex between your 4th position, your 5th position and your 7th here. So let's look, my angels. Ooh, fuck, enchantment. Not my favorite word, but I'm going to tell you something. If you were like, I don't feel like I'm learning everything. It doesn't look like I'm learning anything. It's not supposed to look like you're learning anything. They camouflage this shit. Look, enchantment. Not my favorite word. I'm a Virgo. I want to know the tea. I want the truth. Don't give me some kind of glamour version of shit. I need to know what's going on so I can make wise decisions, right? Here we have a picture of a unicorn. Oh, a unicorn, beautiful. Pony with a horn. Horny pony. A couple of tons of solid fucking muscle with a deadly weapon on its head. See what's there. Go read Lords and Ladies by Terry Pratchett. It is probably one of my favorite books of all time. Whatever my favorite fiction book is, it's Terry Pratchett, I'll tell you that. Good Omens is great, but go read Discworld. Everything I really need to learn about magic, I learned. Everything I really needed to learn about witchcraft, I learned from Terry Pratchett. I'm going to write a book. I think I'm going to write that book if I meet his daughter, and I'll ask her if it's okay if I say that. But big lesson here, but Enchanted, you have no idea. We have no idea. Enchantment. Here's enchantment. It looks like a forest. But there's shit that should not be in that forest, right? It looks like a ring, but is it a ring? It is a ring, but it's also a totem to the goddess Aphrodite, who sits in the throne of Libra, for me. Enchantment, things are not as they appear, but the divine is probably at work. And that's the other thing about enchantments, the fairies of the universe. Do I have any iron to touch? I don't like that phrase. I'll touch iron. But you know what I mean. Synchronicities and all that. Going right in hand with the divine timing aspect of this withdrawal. Let's look at this. This should be hot. Let's look at the Hora. What's going on there with that 10 of flames? But why do you do it? Power. Right? Power. This is a reclaiming, or not just a reclaiming of your power. If this started with an Ace of Flames, a new creativity, it's something that's generating and building and coming to a completion. This is going to be a powerful thing. And I think that's why I kind of got, when the card first hit the table, that Hava Nagila, like not just like Hava Nagila, like really like joyful, celebratory, like you've really pulled something off. And again, with this in the third position, that does make sense. All through that retreat, it seems very paradoxical, but when aren't the gods paradoxical? That somehow through this retreat, there's this completion, this celebration, and I don't feel like I feel like you may be pulling back and withdrawing a little bit, but I don't feel like you're alone. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference. I feel like there's still that social thing. Like you're still going to work. There's still stuff happening. This is the path of true love for a month, right? So, interesting microcosm. Let's look at the macro now with the angels. Remember, you have this enchanted learner thing. Well, then what's the lesson? We've got the Virgo card here. You're learning about miracles. You're learning about miracles. What are you occupied with? Turn to your healing. Heal yourself. Help others heal. Whatever it takes. Virgo card is about service, but get that your happiness is of great service to the quantum field. Right? You're not separate from the quantum field. You're part of it. So why wouldn't your health and happiness be a benefit to all of life? Right? You can't be poor enough to make somebody else ultimately richer, right? You can't be sick enough to make anybody else healthier, right? You want to be a blessing unto this world. There is a huge lesson here about miracles. Now, I am both a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles. I even did a Vimeo on-demand series called Miracles for the Magical. I think there's only 2 or 3 classes on there. There are things in the Course in Miracles that I think pagans, anybody who's not of the 3, major patriarchal religions should look into, but because it's written with Christian language, a lot of pagans are turned off by it, but what's actually in there is a lot about unity consciousness, right? So a miracle is a shift in consciousness from fear to love, ultimately, but if you prefer a more symbolic language, lead to gold, right? It is the alchemical path, forgiveness, but if they called it A Course in Forgiveness, no one would have read it, is my sense. So there is a healing here, a miraculous healing, but you must be occupied with miracles. Look at what you're occupied with. Filter it. Virgo is the intestines, is the filters, one of the filters, but the big ones in terms of what nourishes you and what you let go of. Somehow an enchanted lesson is going on there. Interesting. From the outside looking in, this doesn't shock me at all, though, that you've got the High Priestess then with this going on, with an enchanted lesson going on and miracles in the lesson position. So please, my angels, how do you clarify that with ideas and inspiration? But, ideas and oh my God, I get it. Shh. Write it down. Write it down somewhere. Shh. 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 Right? You're in this phase of withdrawal. You only let that shit out to people when the timing is right. The grace of wisdom. May I have the strength. Please grant me the grace of wisdom that I may have the strength. Oh, is that the grace of knowledge or the grace of wisdom? I think that's the grace of knowledge in the third eye. The grace of knowledge that I may have the strength and the stamina to hold a single vision and not reveal it until it's right time. That's hard. Like getting the visions, they may come and go. What do you do with them once you've got them? Ideas and inspiration of the High Priestess, whatever your spiritual practice is, I would tend to it. In terms of this withdrawal and this lesson. It's all part of the path of true love. Because your destiny, ideas and inspiration, your destiny is an idea, a thought, a new thought, the Sybil. This is clicking together like Lego bricks. What do the angels have to say? Freedom. A thought that frees you, or a thought of freedom, something that frees you, so going within to break the ties that bind. I get it. Break chains of illusion and set all things to right, reveal what has been hidden and bring true love to light. Took me a minute to hear that and remember that. Break chains of illusion and set all things to right, reveal what has been hidden and bring true love to light. Ooh, new thought coming in, gonna set you free. And remember, the truth will set you free, but it will probably piss you off first. Gloria Steinem. I think that quote I get accurate every time because it speaks in the language that I know. It'll probably piss you off first. Yeah, that's my first language, cussing. And your outcome card here, the volcano, Pele. When the angels say to that, oh bitch, new love. So an explosion of new love. That's why I was like, this one did not feel, yes, I talked about anger and frustration. 11 just didn't feel that way. This is an eruption of soul love coming up through. This very well could be a Kundalini activation, which, by the way, if it happens, make sure you have support for that. Like, you could appear a little cuckoo for people who don't have context, right? So with this card of healing and occupation, there's a miracle afoot. I mean, really, this is a rare sort of alignment for any reading, let alone one for YouTube. Very much the divine at work here. So what we are going to do, particularly with that Pele volcano, 5 of Pentacles of new love, like, it's going to make change. 5 of Pentacles, 5 are numbers of change. And if you think of volcano, you can't try and put that genie back in the bottle. You can't. So, so let's ask the higher selves here for some clarity on this. This is a really hot reading. Volcano reference. Nice deep breath. Yeah, I'm going to need to ground. I'm going to need to be grounded right about now, I think. Still point. Oh, the higher selves of all involved, mine included, high. Please, one card for the Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. You see what's going on here on the path of true love for February 2020. Please, a whisper of love. What do you want us to do? Where do you want us to go? What do you want us to say and to whom, right? Please, the higher selves of all involved. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, path of true love, February 2020. What you got for us? Back to what you love. The withdrawal. Back to what you love. Your current situation is giving you an opportunity to reevaluate what you want. And I have a feeling as you do that, boing, something's going to pop. Particularly because you are in a completion phase, right? Sometimes by getting what we want, we have to what? Pull back. We have to get back. It's like, this is what I wanted. I have to get back to what I wanted. It's like planting a seed, and that's what they're showing me, planting a seed in the ground, you know, watering it, tending it here and there, letting it grow, getting distracted, coming back, and now there's fruit. Now there's the completion of at least its gestation cycle of giving you now something from the yang, right? From the inner to the outer. Get back to what you love. Get back to what you love. Very, very, because it's got to be you here. It's like, get back to you. Get back to taking care of you with that card of withdrawal. There are miracles and freedom and new love. And if that's new love for the self with that Pele the volcano, then blessed, blessed be. Take it. Love it. Learn it. Be it. That's what the path of true love is about. Which? Let's get you your last card down, and then we'll pop up the picture and do the overview. Because shit pops out in the overview I don't see until I do it all at once, right? Right, we do all the pieces of the puzzle on the table, and then we look at the whole picture. So we're going to ask the Ascended Masters, those who've already walked the path of true love. That's how they graduated, right? They walked the path of true love. They became true love because they already were, blah, blah, blah. They're reaching down through time and space, right, to help us with this shit because, by the way, path of true love absolutely serves all of humanity, no matter who's walking it. And maybe not everybody's on the path of true love, I don't know. But those of us who are, right? It's like, as we heal, all heal. So we are in service. So nice deep breath. Let's ask the Masters for a healing mantra. By the way, this deck is amazing, Matt Kahn. I think it's at Hay House put it out, I think. Yeah. Nice deep breath. Find the still point. Still point. My masters, I love you. Masters of true love, particular, please, in particular, the Masters of true love. One card in clarity for this Libra collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. What is the perfect, most truly helpful healing mantra, my Ascended Masters, for this Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for February 2020? Right to the point. You're just waiting for me to shut up. Dissolving judgments. One side of the card is the name of the mantra, the other the mantra itself. I don't have to like the actions of others to love my journey. Why do I have a feeling with this trust card in the past that perhaps your trust was betrayed? You are now in a place of healing with this compassion and withdrawal, but from that comes some completion of power for you. Like a celebration of power, because I think you're at the end of a soul cycle here about trust and faith and all of that stuff. I don't have to like the actions of others in order to love my journey. All right, the name of the mantra, Dissolving Judgments, the mantra itself. I don't need to like the actions of others in order to love my journey, and I will read it from the book. Dissolving Judgments. Wait, opens right to it. Oh shit, it's right there. You can't see, especially if you're on your phone. Here we go. Dissolving Judgments. Breathe. I don't have to like the actions of others in order to love my journey. It's true. When judgments are dissolved, you don't have to enjoy the actions of others in order to glean benefit from them. When you know that every moment has been created to help each soul shine through the brightest, it becomes easier to not take things personally. Pull back, unplug, look from another place. Instead, you are able to appreciate the positions life has put you in as evidence of your evolving mastery and form, right? So you don't have to like it. You don't have to like what other people are doing in order to love that you are growing and evolving and loving yourself as you go. This mantra is ideal for learning to speak your truth, cultivating empathy, and trusting the universe. That cultivating empathy thing, not just the intuitive aspect of feeling other people, you know, the intuitive divine feminine empathy, but that thing of really getting, it's like, I don't gotta like what they're doing to get that there's a lesson here for me. And particularly with that enchantment card with the learner in what's crowning, it may come in disguise. Your learning may absolutely come in disguise. So let's get into this with a lovely overview. Shall we? Nice deep breath. Magic clap. Bam. We've got the Six of Cups, compassion with the soulmate card going on in your the card that covers you here. So we're really looking at a time of self-compassion, but in a place of learning compassion with perhaps other soulmates, or truly being the mate of your own soul by being compassionate with self. The situation that's crossing you, the environment that you are in, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, withdrawal with divine timing. So look, you got here. Right place, right time. You don't have to like it, right? It's like, I don't have to like what's going on here in order to love my journey. This is part of the journey. So whatever got you, whatever drove you here into this withdrawal and the need for compassion or learning compassion, worth it, was all scripted. Because at the core, we've got that card of Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the world, the card of the universe, the end of the major arcana before it goes through the Fool and then reboots with the Magician, but with the card of retreat. So really, all of this was just so very scripted. You have to kind of get that I didn't do anything wrong. Like, let that be a mantra. I didn't do anything wrong to get me here. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm right on time, right on time, right on time. Right on divine timing because of this completion going on inside of you. When we go back to that card, in the fourth position, trust with the Spider Woman, the Wheel of Fortune. All of that was woven in. That was totally fate. In fact, I'm going to say that whatever this trust issue was, whatever triggered this in the past, our fourth position here, was indeed divine plan, fated. Just like your eye color, just like your DNA, just like where you were born and when. It was just one of those things that was written in now really on the hero's journey. Huge opportunity for alchemizing fate into destiny, but do you trust? Feels like you do, because coming into your crowning position, position number 5 at the top, we have got the learner with enchantment that you might realize you have been in this lesson all along but did not see it. This might be a life longer, and that you're actually, because of what's going on in that third position, Shakti the life dancer, you might be at the end of a particular cycle of learning, right? A real true internal graduation, which would only show itself eventually outside, which may be the indication here of this Ten of Flames in the 6th position with power. This could absolutely be an external manifestation, a celebration, a completion on the outside, fire, and air are the masculine yang elements, so why wouldn't it show up, but in a very, very powerful way? Or maybe you're carrying your confidence, your sense of completion more powerfully on the path moving forward. Microcosm, absolutely gorgeous, lessons galore, I get it. Macrocosm, again, we're back at that card of the idea of a lesson. Since you've got the learner in the 5th position in the crown, here in the lesson itself, we're looking at the Virgo card with miracles. So you are learning something about miracles, or there is miraculous learning, but I'm telling you, whether this is a Virgo person, someone who is very practical, some kind of teacher, some kind of healer, someone you work with, occupation and health. Those are the key words here. Really, I would even go so far as to, study up on what is 6th house energy. What is the 6th house in astrology about? Not just Virgo, the entire 6th house. I would look into that because there are miracles there for you. And remember, miracles, our partner is very small. The miracles, that's really true. It's the divine that does all the heavy lifting. And because of this enchantment going on in the 5th and that Wheel of Fortune card in the 4th, definitely worth doing. But the timeout in your 2nd position, the withdrawal does make sense so that you can be compassionate. 1st position. From the outside looking in, you got the High Priestess with ideas and inspiration. Yes, people may be a little intimidated by you, or at least intimidated by your silence, and I would recommend silence and secrecy. I would absolutely recommend, if you have to go to work, if that's how you have it, right? If you work from home, that's different, I get it. But if you have to socialize, don't worry about being too aloof right now if you are really, truly deep within yourself. Because you do have ideas and inspiration, but I will say this, a good boundary for anybody is don't answer questions that haven't been asked, right? So keep it to yourself. If somebody really asks you something, you have the idea, you have an inspiration for them, really tune in intuitively. Is it kind? Is it loving, right? What you're going to say. Are you ready to say it? Are they ready to hear it? You may not know the answers to all of that, but I would say unless it's an unequivocal yes, keep yaps shut. Say, just feel a little odd today. I'll be right back. Go to the bathroom and then leave. You need to. High Priestess, withdrawal, got it. I'm a Virgo. Your destiny card, though, that I love here, though, is this from Ideas and Inspiration of the High Priestess. You've got the Ace of Blades, the Sibyl, the Oracle of Delphi with the card of freedom, because you are downloading perhaps radical, revolutionary, freeing content, right? Ideas that, yes, may indeed not just piss you off and piss other people off, but may eventually liberate them and set them free from some outmoded ideas, beliefs, patterns, behaviors, etc. But what I love is the outcome card here. Pele of New Love, the Volcano. Granted, 5 of Flames, not a fun card. 5 of Wands. Go look up 5 of Wands. You'll be like, ooh, I don't know that I want that, right? But here, it is definitely about that expression of passion and a new love, perhaps a divine fire. Perhaps you're going to be burned up by true love, which does happen, but it only burns that which no longer serves, right? Completing the Celtic Cross, we've got here the higher self saying, back to what you love. Your current situation is giving you an opportunity to reevaluate what you want. Why not? Particularly if there was a trust issue in the past that was divinely timed, you're going to come into so much more clarity as a result and walk away, or at least maybe emerge from this divine timing 2nd position, 8 of Cups withdrawal, into that 10 of Cups in the 4th position of power with this explosion of volcanic new love, right? By getting back to what you want. Almost like, again, I say this image a lot, I guess, an arrow being notched on a bow and pulled back, right? It's like pulling it back, but it hasn't been set loose just yet. Looks like that 10th position it will, as a result of getting back to what you love. And remember the mantra, dissolving judgments. I don't have to like the actions of others in order to love my journey. And how better to love your journey than to get that you are on one, that you always have been on one, and taking a little time out, a little withdrawal, going into the self with some compassion in order to consolidate your power, learn some lessons, experience some internal graduation, and learn about your miracles. So glad I have Venus and Libra. I hope this is for me too. It sounds lovely. So may the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love for February 2020, that they may learn about those miracles that are already in play in divine timing, all of that power, that they're becoming the soulmate or are surrounded by soulmates, that new love may flow through them like volcanic lava, like magma, for the well-being of all and fulfillment of the divine plan. And so it is. So mote it be. Blessed be. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Go watch your other signs. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Mark Angelo Lyons Mel for short. The fun one is on YouTube. But for now, my darling, my Libras, my scales. Hail, scales. Farewell and blessed, blessed, blessed be.